Welcome to Sportpen. Today, we're diving deep into the extraordinary career of Serena Williams. We're going to trace those pivotal moments, that relentless determination and the game-changing performances that really forged her into a sporting legend.
Yeah, it's about understanding what defines true greatness, isn't it? And how these, iconic figures come along and just rewrite the story of sports.
Exactly. And if you're keen to get a real handle on Serena's impact, you've definitely come to the right place.
What's so fascinating, I think, is how Serena's journey began. It wasn't, the traditional tennis establishment path. It was very deliberate, very different.
Right, that move from Compton to Rick Matchey's academy when she was 9.
Yeah.
That wasn't just changing zip codes, was it?
Not at all. It fundamentally shifted her development trajectory.
And you look at those early results. 46-3 on the junior tour by 91.
Yeah.
Number 1 under 10 in Florida.
Yeah.
That kind of dominance so early on. Well, it had to signal something truly exceptional brewing, right?
It absolutely did. But then her father, Richard Williams, made a really significant decision, and maybe unexpected at the time.
Which was?
He stopped sending Venus and Serena to national junior tournaments. Serena was just 10.
10 years old, wow.
And look, this wasn't just about burnout, though that was part of it. It was also influenced by their experiences with racism within that junior tennis environment.
That's a heavy factor.
It is. And this decision, controversial as it might have been, arguably shielded them, allowed them to develop more on their own terms, maybe fostered that unique family dynamic that proved so important later on.
It's a really powerful insight, isn't it, into the less visible side of becoming an elite athlete. And then Richard taking over all the coaching in 95, that's a huge commitment to this very specific vision he had for them.
Absolutely. And that, let's say, unconventional approach, it clearly worked. Serena turned pro in 1995. And just 2 years later, bang, her first win against a top 10 player, Mary Pierce.
That's huge for a young player just starting out. A massive statement.
Total statement of intent. It definitely hinted at the powerhouse she was going to become.
Then you see her Fed Cup debut in 99. For anyone less familiar, that's like the World Cup of women's tennis, the big team event.
Right. Crucial experience.
And following that, her first actual WTA Tour title later that year in Paris. And then that really, really significant win against Steffi Graf at Indian Wells.
Against Graf, yeah. Major scalp.
It felt like each step was deliberately building towards something.
Yeah.
Well, something monumental.
Absolutely. And that momentum, it all sort of culminated in 1999, her first Grand Slam singles title, U.S. Open.
Feeding Martina Hingis in the final.
Exactly. And that victory wasn't just, a personal milestone. It truly announced the arrival of a new force, a different style, different energy in the women's game.
Okay, let's unpack this next incredible phase, the Serena Slam. This is just mind-blowing.
It really is. Winning the French Open, U.S. Open, and Wimbledon all in 2002.
And remarkably, in each of those finals, she beat her sister Venus.
Yeah. That level of sibling rivalry playing out on the absolute biggest stages in tennis, it's just captivating, isn't it?
Completely. Speaks volumes about the dedication of the whole family, really, and the incredibly high level both sisters reached.
And then she completes the first Serena Slam at the 2003 Australian Open. Again, against Venus.
So holding all 4 major titles at the same time, that's so rare it gets its own name.
The Serena Slam, yep.
And she wasn't just winning, she was the undisputed best. Ended 2002 as world number 1.
Right. And that sustained time at the absolute pinnacle, that's a real hallmark of lasting greatness.
Thinking about her whole career, holding number 1 for 319 weeks, third most all time, and having the longest span between her first and last time at number 1, almost 15 years.
It's incredible. Almost 15 years of elite performance. It's a testament to amazing staying power in such a demanding sport, physically and mentally.
Serena herself famously said, "My game is my mental toughness." Makes you really think, what does that actually mean at that elite level? It's got to be more than just, gritting your teeth.
Oh, absolutely. Sources suggest that mental toughness for these top performers, it's quite nuanced. It's about being adaptable.
Adaptable how?
Coping with distractions, with the flow of a match changing, still performing at your best even when things aren't going perfectly. It's not just resilience when things go wrong. It's about maintaining focus, execution under immense pressure.
Right. Loving all aspects of the competition, handling that intense pressure. You kind of expect that at that level, maybe?
Maybe.
But then thriving on those high-stakes opportunities to compete, that seems like a different gear altogether.
Exactly. And it's described as, well, a combination of specific mental skills like focus, emotional control, and a more general attitude. A deep belief in your ability to get it done.
Interesting.
And interestingly, it's also seen as something you can develop, something that can fluctuate throughout a career. It's not just an on-off switch you're born with.
You absolutely see that in her incredible comebacks, winning 3 slams after saving match points. And, 37 Grand Slam matches won from a set down. That's not just luck.
Not at all. And her serve, particularly that ability to pull out an ince at the most critical moments.
Well, yeah, clutch serving.
Martina Navratilova called her mental strength unbelievable. And that composure she had in those super high pressure points, undeniably key to her dominance.
But the journey, well, it wasn't all smooth sailing, was it?
Yeah.
There were significant bumps.
Definitely not. That knee surgery in August 2003.
And then, just devastatingly, the murder of her half-sister Yetunda Price in September that same year.
Yeah. Those are just unimaginable personal challenges to navigate, let alone while trying to compete at the highest level of pro sport.
And those events, they undoubtedly had a huge impact, right?
For sure. We saw a period where she seemed to struggle. Her ranking dipped way down to like 139 in 2006. Injuries, maybe lack of motivation, burnout potentially.
It really underscores that even the most mentally tough athletes face vulnerabilities. External stuff takes a massive toll.
Absolutely.
And remember that shocking loss at Wimbledon in 2013? To Sabine Lisicki, right after a 34-match winning streak.
Oh, yeah. That stunned everyone.
It's just a powerful reminder, isn't it?
Yeah.
No one, no matter how dominant, is invincible.
And then her response, coming right back to win the U.S. Open that same year, beating Azarenka in the final for the second year running.
That's the mark of a true champion's mindset right there.
No question. And we saw her navigate other things, too. Injuries, like pulling out of the French Open in 2018 with that pectoral injury before playing Sharapova.
Right. And the emotional stuff, too, like learning about her half-sister's murderer getting paroled just before a match in 2018. She suffered a really lopsided loss after that news.
The mental fortitude just to step onto the court in those circumstances is... oh, it's hard to even imagine.
And then there were the controversies, like the 2018 U.S. Open final against Naomi Osaka.
That was intense.
Yeah. Regardless of how you view the specifics, the coaching violation, the racket smash, the verbal stuff, that moment really captured the intense pressure, the raw emotion of competing when so much is on the line.
It did. And even that stunning collapse at the 2019 Australian Open, remember? Up 5-1 in the third set, match points, and then lost.
Brutal. It just shows, I guess, a fiercely competitive spirit that wasn't immune to the ups and downs, the pressures of elite sport. Runner-up finishes at Wimbledon and the U.S. Open again in 2019, too.
And we absolutely have to mention her winning the 2017 Australian Open while 2 months pregnant.
Oh, my gosh, yes. That's just...
astonishing. A feat of athleticism, sheer determination. It sort of redefines what you think is physically possible.
Okay, let's pivot a bit. Her impact on the actual game of tennis.
Yeah.
She's widely credited with bringing in a new, much more powerful era for the women's game.
Yeah, pioneering that power baseline game. Her adoption and really mastery of the open stance backhand, leveraging that exceptional strength she had.
That was a big shift, wasn't it? For more traditional techniques.
Huge shift. It let her generate tremendous power, create different angles, stuff people hadn't seen quite like that before.
And that open stance, it also gave her a tactical edge. It made it harder to read her shots.
Absolutely. Better disguise. But she combined that aggressive baseline power with actually surprisingly excellent defensive skills.
You don't always think of her defense first, but it was key.
It was. She could absorb pace, counterpunch really effectively, and then bam, switch right back to attack mode. Made her incredibly tough to game plan against.
And her athleticism overall, just the speed, the court coverage, agility, balance, footwork.
Phenomenal.
It all contributed to this dominant style. It wasn't just hitting harder. It was moving so well while hitting that hard.
Precisely. And we can't overlook her on-court intelligence, her ability to read the game, pick the right shot, construct points strategically.
Smart tennis.
Absolutely crucial to her long-term success. That tactical awareness was top-notch.
So beyond all the wins, the records,
Yeah.
Serena has become this, well, a true cultural phenomenon, hasn't she? Her influence goes way beyond the tennis court.
Without a doubt. She undeniably changed the landscape for women in tennis, and maybe even more significantly for Black women in sports.
Yeah.
Her consistent presence right at the top for so long, it inspired a whole new generation. broaden the perception of who could achieve greatness in tennis.
Her name recognition is just. It's global icon level. She totally transcends tennis and achieving the career Golden Slam in both singles and doubles. Just to remind everyone, that's winning all 4 Grand Slams plus Olympic gold.
Singles.
And then doing the exact same thing in doubles with Venus. That's just unbelievably rare.
Almost unheard of. And that doubles partnership with Venus. 14-0 in Grand Slam finals together.
Perfect record. Incredible.
It speaks to their unique synergy, their shared dominance, plus 4 Olympic gold medals in total, 3 of those together in doubles. Their impact as a duo is just as massive as their individual achievements.
And she's also used her platform, hasn't she, to make a tangible difference off the court. The Serena Williams Foundation, building schools in Africa.
Yeah, that philanthropic work is a really important part of her legacy. It's not just about the tennis.
Definitely. And she shared her story through autobiographies, ventured into fashion with her clothing line S by Serena, designed for all sorts of body types.
Right, showing her business side, too. Served on the board of directors for Poshmark, the online marketplace. She's multifaceted.
Lots of interest beyond the baseline.
And the docuseries Being Serena on HBO gave fans a more intimate look. Plus, all the awards outside of Tennis Essence magazine's Most Inspiring African Americans, NAACP Image Awards, multiple AP Female Athlete of the Year honors.
Best female athlete, ESPYs, too.
Right. It all just underscores her huge cultural impact. Her success has definitely played a big role in inspiring more diversity in tennis, showing that talent and sheer determination can break down barriers.
Markina Navratilova once suggested, interestingly, that Serena only really had 2 true rivals in her whole career.
Yeah, that's a bold statement, but when you look at the head-to-heads...
The rivalry with Venus, obviously. Fiercely competitive, but always with that unique family bond underneath. Serena had the edge, 1912.
Correct. 1912 in Serena's favor. Reflects her slight edge, but those matches were always huge events, carried so much weight.
And then her record against Maria Sharapova, just dominant.
Yeah.
20 wins, 2 losses.
Yeah, 20-2. That really stands out, doesn't it? Highlights Serena's ability to consistently figure out and overcome another multi-slam champion.
So who was the other potential true rival then?
Well, the rivalry with Victoria Azarenka is often mentioned. Serena still led that 18-5.
Still pretty one-sided overall.
It is, but Azarenka is considered one of the few modern players who really, truly pushed Serena consistently in big matches. She's one of the very few to have beaten Serena in multiple tour-level finals.
Interesting distinction. So, okay, when we look at everything we've talked about, the wins, the setbacks, the style, the impact, what does it all tell us about what truly defines greatness in sports?
Well, Serena's career really hits several key points, I think. First, that relentless determination, that constant drive to improve. She famously said she's a perfectionist, pretty much insatiable.
Never satisfied, always pushing.
Exactly. And then her remarkable ability to overcome huge challenges, major injuries, personal tragedies, burnout, and not just come back, but get back to the very top again and again.
That resilience, that mental fortitude is just immense.
Then there's the sustained dominance. Across multiple generations of tennis players, she wasn't just a flash in the pan. She was a dominant force for well over a decade, constantly adapting her game.
And her impact on the game's style, that powerful, aggressive approach, it undeniably influenced countless players who came after her.
For sure, plus the inspiration she provided. To a whole new generation, especially women and Black athletes, that's a massive part of her legacy.
Absolutely immeasurable.
And finally, I'd say her influence beyond the court. Through philanthropy, business, her cultural impact. It's that whole package, isn't it? The unparalleled on-court achievements combined with that significant off-court influence. That's what defines her extraordinary greatness, I think.
Thanks for listening to Sportpen. Consider how Serena Williams' unique combination of mental fortitude, powerful athleticism, and cultural influence has not only defined her greatness, but also reshaped the landscape of sports and our understanding of athletic achievement. What aspects of her journey resonate most with you in your own pursuits of excellence?